Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will explain you on how to make your application secured by using HTTPS using AKS cluster. So for doing this, I'm going to create a certificate and incorporate a certificate in my ingress. So here I'm going to use NGINX ingress. Let me explain you this concept using a simple banking analogy. Okay, so here you can consider your open SSL as locksmith and app gateway as broker and root CA as financial approver and bank is a AKS cluster. So what you are basically doing here, you are going to send the money from your room, the cash, whatever you have available to your bank. Okay, that's what you are going to do. So the locksmith generally prepare a key. So he prepare a key and also he also prepare a access card id access card to get enter into your room, and then he also making a special key, and then he is also making some common key. Okay, so this key is nothing but your regular key which you will use it to open your locker. Assume that your cash is in your locker and this is your certificate. Okay, so identity card or access card is going to be a certificate, and the special key is a combination of this. So let's put one. So this one, this both are same, and this common key is the one which you will be using for the financial authority. So let me put 2 here. So this is what you will use here. So okay, the key certificate, and there is a special key which we call PFX, and this is called root ca.ser. So you use OpenSSL to create a key certificate, and PFX is a special key which has a combination of key and certificate. So now I'll show you where you will apply this, right? So coming back to broker, so either you can send directly, you can deposit your cash in your bank. Instead, you can also hire a broker to transfer your cash from your room to your bank. Okay, so your broker is nothing but your app gateway. So your app gateway need your PFX and root CR. So PFX root ca.cer file. So these two will be used in your app gateway. So basically your broker can have the special key, right? That using the special key, with that same key he can enter into the room, and also you can use the same key to unlock the locker and get the cash. So that is what you will be using in the app gateway. This root ca.cer you'll be using in the backend HTTP settings. So I will show you all this thing in a demo within a few minutes. So once the root CA is the one which get the authenticity of your AKS cluster. So how your financial authenticity as the contact of so many banks like your Bank of America, State Bank of India. So likewise, so many bank, all that details will be available in the financial authenticity. So when you transfer money, it check whether you are transferring to the authenticate bank, like that. To send your before you say going to AKS cluster, this root ca.cr which you retrieve from AKS, that will be applied to your CR file. So that's how your app gateway knows that your application can be authentic and accessible through AKS cluster. I hope you understand this analogy, but I will explain you while executing this OpenSSL and applying this PFX and root ca.cr in app gateway. And finally, I will show you how you can access this application using HTTPS. So this is what I'm going to use. www.im7nails.com and the path. Okay, so let me take you to the demo. Okay, just for to make the simplicity, I captured all the steps in my readme.md file. Here I'm going to use a PowerShell. This is going to create. Let me show you what is there in that PowerShell quickly before even I go and run it. So this PowerShell basically contains three simple commands. First command is to create the certificate file at keys, and then another one is going to create the pfx file, which is, I told you earlier, the pfx file is a combination of key and certificate. And finally, I'm creating a certificate cr file for the AKS cluster. Okay, so all these variable I just mentioned here. So yeah, this path might change based on where your OpenSSL is installed. So you might need to modify this one, and if you want to change any of your variable, please change it here and run the command. And this is another one, subject name. This also varies based on what you are using it. So let me go back to my PowerShell. I'm going to run that PowerShell. Okay, if you look at the dir, there are like 4 files created: key file, cert, pfx, and cer file. So going back, I'm going to follow the next step. Going back to my readme. So here I'm going to create a certificate in my Kubernetes cluster, so that I'll be using this certificate in my YAML file also. Okay, let me run this first and I will show you how this is going to be referenced in the YAML file as well. Let me clear the screen. So this is very important. You see there is a im7nails-tls. This you'll be referenced in one of your YAML file. Okay, if you already have a code converted to your app, to your HTTP, if you want to convert, this is a one simple thing. If you look into my earlier video, I used this particular file for the HTTP. To convert this to HTTPS, I just simply added this one line, and then I'm going to tell for HTTPS you need to use what TLS. Now this is the one what I'm creating as a secret that I'm passing as a parameter here, and under the host, this is my host name. Okay, so just if you are already having the existing one, this is the only minor change that you need to do it in your ingress.yaml. Okay, otherwise everything, the process is going to be the same in the AKS cluster between HTTP and HTTPS, but there is a wide differences will be there in for HTTPS and HTTP in Azure App Gateway, Application Gateway, which I will show you in a few minutes. Okay, going back to your README. So now I have created this secret. Now I'm going to run the commands, whatever it is already there. So this is going to create the NGINX ingress controller. Okay, so my intent here in this call, how to use certificate, not about the NGINX ingress. I have mentioned about this in my earlier video. Okay, now I have created the NGINX ingress. So one thing I just wanted to call out, there is one minor change I updated in this YAML file. Basically, you can get this file from the internet, but once you get the file from the internet, from the GitHub, one minor change I did in this YAML file. So even I called this out in my previous video, in line around 350, like that, you will see there is a changes I did. So because in my case I'm using the internal load balancer, so this annotation is needed, and then coming down, I put a type load balancer. Here I hard coded my load balancer IP. So if you go and check my Kubernetes here, kubectl get svc -a, you'll be seeing a services with the internal load balancer created with 10.0.0.8. Okay, if you are using your existing load balancer IP, you can have the changes in your YAML and keep this whatever the IP that you want to use, you can modify in your YAML file. That's a very important thing to remember. Okay, now going back to my README file. So I created the NGINX controller. Now I'm going to create this application. So my intent here, I'm going to use this application with the using the HTTPS. Earlier I was using HTTP. I'm going to use HTTPS. So nothing changed in my application too. It's exactly the same YAML file. Okay, some reason it's not copying. I'm going to do for our remaining environment also. Second. Okay, so I have created three application. Basically, it is going to create your application pod and the corresponding services. Let me clear the screen. kubectl get pods. kubectl get svc. So it's going to say there are three pod, first, second, third, and the corresponding services. Okay, so now let me go back to my document. Here I'm going to run this routing rule. This one is the one what I showed you earlier. This is my nginx ingress file. Okay, so basically here I define how my application is going to route from the base path to respective application. For example, if someone going to eat on a www.im7news.com/first tab, it will come to this particular rule and will find out what is my service. Okay, and then it will come to your service section of my application. This particular service belongs to your first underscore app part. Okay, that is how your services and pod will communicate. So please look into my previous video where I explained about this in my earlier video. Okay, now going back, copy this one and execute this. This is responsible for creating your ingress rule. Okay, so kubectl get or -n ingress nginx. Okay, you have to check this particular part should be running, and if you look at here, my service also already I mentioned that this is the one, and there is one more thing which I need to double check about kubectl get ing. So here this is the address should also be pointing to your external IP. It will take a couple of few seconds or less than a minute to update to get your address as your external IP. Right now it's empty. Yeah, so you see here this has to be get exactly like your external IP. That means we completed our ingress controller ingress setup. Let's quickly double check whether the installation is good or not. kubectl get pods. So what I'm trying to do, I'm going to test the connection inside my Kubernetes cluster whether my Nginx route is working or not. kubectl execute -it and copy any one of your pod name. Okay, going back to my notepad, I also gave this command how you can validate this. Okay, which is good. Now I'm going to test for the second app. So you see here, my application is going to port 443 and resolving the certificate, and then finally it's accessing. That means your load balance, your certificate and your Nginx route is working good. So okay, now I'm going to do create an app gateway, which is the final step for this. Okay, now if you see here, now I need to use pfx and rootca.cer file in my app gateway, which I'll be showing in a minute. Let me go back to my portal. Okay, before even creating the app gateway, let me create the public IP, where I will be using this public IP attached in front of the app gateway. So that is going to be a front end. Public. Okay, this will create your public IP. Okay, take this public IP where I need to add this public IP in my a name record. So this is my public my DNS where I have the account. Go to your DNS. In my a name, the water previously I change it to the updated one. Okay. So once you update, I'm making sure my NS lookup is correct. Exit here. NS. Okay, it's having the latest one. Okay, that means we are good. So going back to your portal, now your public IP is created. Now I'm going to create the app gateway. Select this. HTTPS and keep it no. So here I already have a VNet. So where I have a couple of subnet. One I use for the Kubernetes, another one I'm going to use for the app gateway. I'm keeping both in the same VNet just to avoid VNet peering. So this also you can keep it one. Next, front end. So here you need to attach your public IP. If you want, if you use something, if it is something you don't have, you can simply click add new. But generally your organization or wherever you work, you might be having a public IP. You can choose and go and click next. Next backend. Add a backend pool. HTTPS can be any name and simply give your IP address 10.0.0.8. This is your AKS load balancer IP. Click OK and then click next configuration. Add a routing rule. This part is complete. Now we are updating the routing rule. HTTPS routing rule. It can be any name as and here I'm using the listener as HTTPS listener. So in my previous video I selected HTTP. Now I'm selecting HTTPS. This is the place where you need to upload your PFX file. So I'm going to select the PFX file. Let's see, it's here. And then you can give any name. PFX. And I'm going to use the password. Okay, in real time, don't keep password something like what I created here. Keep it something very authentic and don't expose in your code. Copy the password just for everyone to understand. I just follow this and put your password here. Okay, and click add. And once you add, you need to update the backend. So here you can select the one already there. Click add new and backend settings HTTPS and clicks HTTPS and use again this is the root ca.cr file which I told you, right? There are a couple of files that we need to select. Root ca.cr file is what you need to select here. It can be any CR file. How what the name you create, based on that you need to select. Here I'm going to keep yes. So www.im7else.com and click add. So this will take 6 to 7 minutes. Once this is complete, the one last thing what we need to do is create the HTTP Pro. So I'll pause this video as it will take 6 to 7 minutes. Okay, so your app gateway is complete. Let me go to the resource. There is one activity still pending, which is your Health Pro. So go to your Health Pro. So I need to update the respective path. What is that matching in my routing rules.yaml? Okay, test. Okay, testing is complete. Now let me save it. It may take a couple of minutes to get sync up. I'm going to test the connectivity. .exe https www.im7else.com /first_app. Okay, I missed the parameter. KV. Okay, it's working good. And let me test for the other app. Second_app. Okay, finally third app. Okay, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe it. Thank you.